Well, we've been talking about GCSE results today, and like most news outlets, we've been concentrated on the grade attainments of pupils. But are we, as a programme, as a country, too focused on grades, not thinking enough about the leap from education to the workplace? For those pupils who don't go on to further education but want to get a job instead, what are the major challenges? James Uffindell is the CEO of Bright Network. It's a platform which connects pupils and employers. James, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Nisa.
And Alice Barnard is the Chief Executive of the EDGE Foundation. It's a non-political foundation aimed at making education relevant. Alice, thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
OK, so James, first of all, what are we doing right and what are we doing wrong, do you think?
Well, firstly, huge congratulations to all the students who achieved record GCSE and A-level results today. In terms of what we're doing right, I think across the country there is some fantastic work going on in terms of government, schools, private sectors, trying to upskill and get the country ready and the young people ready for what the future of work looks like, with automation coming, obviously huge challenges out there. We've had the National Centre for Computing Education upskilling students in digital skills. So there's a lot of work going on, and we know this is a big challenge. However, the reality is there is a lot more to do. So if you look at, obviously, when students kind of move on, we've got a third of graduates kind of in non kind of graduate roles. 72% of students feel they don't have the required digital skills ready for the world of work. Coding is the number one skill that students want to learn, which suggests we're not kind of teaching it to them well enough. 42% of employers are finding it hard to fill technology roles. So we need to do a lot better at matching these bright young people and getting them ready for the world of work.
Alice Barnard, I was having a quick look at your tweets this afternoon, and you've been questioning the fairness of the exam system. Just share your thoughts on what might be a better way of grading pupils.
Well, I think we're being asked to believe that it's exams or nothing. So knowledge or none, high standards or low, rigour or leniency. And that isn't the case at all. There is a real opportunity here for us to take a good, long, hard look at the way we assess young people. And very much like life, it's not all black and white, and it's the colour in between that makes things interesting. And exams could form part of a new assessment system, alongside international examples of innovation in countries like British Columbia, Singapore, Finland and New Zealand. And I think multimodal should be the buzzword. The use of mastery transcript, which is used in the United States, performance-based assessment, for example.
What is that? Mastery? What is that?
The idea behind this is to test the way young people are able to articulate. And a lot of the ways that we can assess young people is based on the way in which they accumulate knowledge, the way they digest it, the way they interrogate it, and then the way they apply it. So rather than asking students to bank up knowledge for a cliff edge exam and regurgitate that knowledge on that one day in that warm school hall that we all remember, what we're looking at is ways in which we can assess young people's knowledge and skills over a period of time to ensure that we capture those moments for them, but also, very importantly, as James said, that we're able to reflect what employers are really looking for. And currently that just isn't happening.
Well, that's interesting, James. Do pupils have an idea of what employers want, or are they sort of in different solar systems as far as that connection is concerned?
They are very much in different solar systems. Our Bright Network research, we have 500,000 students on the platform, and then we work with 250 top employers. So we're perfectly positioned to understand both sides of the market. And interestingly, so academic qualifications, students put the second most important thing they think employers want, whereas actually employers put academic qualifications at only seventh in terms of what they want. So there is a huge disconnect. So for example, employers actually value communication skills as the number one thing that they're looking for, whereas students only think that is third. And resilience is a fascinating one, which coming on to how we can help young people through automation and how they get through that. Employers value that the fourth most important skill, whereas students only think it's the 10th most important skill.
I'm really interested in that, the resilience bit, Alice, because you sort of only know how resilient you are when your feet are held to the fire. How do you show that as a pupil?
Exactly. And I think that's the issue with the current education system. And this isn't laying blame at the door of teachers and schools. This is laying the blame at the feet firmly of the government. If you want young people to be able to show their ability to be resilient, to be able to work in a team, you have to be able to provide them the context in school to be able to do that. And currently, we simply don't do that. Our obsession with exam results, our obsession with a narrow curriculum that reflects of 1904 just doesn't allow young people to build the skills that James is talking about that are so important. And this isn't just a social imperative. This is also an economic imperative. Okay. The skills shortage is actually costing employers a total of £6.1 billion a year.
Right. I mean, let me put this to you, and I don't mean to sound depressing, but, we could do things your way and do things much better. But this is a world, isn't it? And I think, James, you mentioned this, where automation is becoming a thing. Fewer and fewer jobs need human beings to do them. There's global competition. There are factors beyond our control. So how can anyone prepare young minds for that kind of ever-changing landscape?
Absolutely, and it's a huge challenge, and we all know it's coming. And about 50% of Bright Network students are actually worried about the impact of artificial intelligence and automation on their careers and their futures. And I think the question becomes kind of what can humans do, which robots we don't think will be able to do. So I think it fits into two groups. There's going to be those who are working and building the technology, and they're probably going to be absolutely fine, and they're going to be learning kind of coding, and they're going to be building this kind of future. But for the others, it's about those non-routine skills and creative skills, and we think they fit into two pots. So there's the people communication skills, self-management, making sound judgments, social skills, collaboration, teamwork, management, leadership. And we work with a lot of schools, and it's all about trying to help those schools teach those, which becomes about creative problem solving rather than about learning by rote. And obviously with a lot of the current exams, there can be a tendency to teach by rote to kind of get that kind of glittering A star. But how do we focus more on the creative problem solving, which robots can't do? And then secondly, it's coming back to that resilience and growth mindset point that I mentioned. And human beings, we've been going for 300,000 years. And the secret seems to be if we just keep going, we will continue to develop.
Okay, well, that's heartening. James Uffindell, CEO of Bright Network, and Alice Barnard, Chief Executive of the Edge Foundation. Thank you very much.